GDQ on this amazing Monday morning showing off Superliminal. This is my main speed game. I
Oh
love this
no,
game and I love the community to
технические
death.
неполадки.
And we're going to be showing off all collectibles, which is the completionist category of this game. It's also a glitched category,
Ну вот, в
and those two
принципе,
things combined
еще о чем я и
make it,
говорил.
I would
Человек
say, like the
любит
objectively
игру.
most entertaining
Это его основная
run
игра для
to show
спидранов.
off at an
Она
event
ему
like
очень
GDQ. I'm
нравится, и,
so
естественно,
glad
он
that I
сможет
get to
про
show
нее
it off
круто
here.
рассказать.
But there's a lot to explain about this run, and so I had someone else come in here help me
Он
co-commentate.
считает, что это
If you could
самая
introduce yourself, please.
увлекательная игра, которую можно было бы показать. Даже так. Вот, замечательно. Всем знающим английский, как говорится, ГЛ.
Yes, Sapphire is and probably always will be like immensely better at me at this category. And if you're interested in this run after what you see here and you want to see more of it, Sapphire is actually going to be running this exact category at Frost Fatales on March 1st. So I really recommend checking her out so she can be the one running. And so they're all collectibles. What exactly does that mean? Well, it means that we're going to be collecting fire extinguishers, all the fire alarms, all the chess pieces, all the blueprints, and all the constellations. And I understand that out of context, that seems like a really weird assortment of items, but as soon as we get into the run, you're gonna have a bit more context towards that. And before we start the run, we have to reset achievements and tracked items so we can actually, collect them. And we're gonna have 9 levels here, and you're gonna see at the end of the run, they're gonna be all the collectibles are gonna be shown off on this gray bar underneath each level preview. So timing does not begin when we enter the first level, but rather it'll begin when we walk through this door right here. But first, we're going to sign the terms of service for good luck, because you always have to sign the terms of service for good luck. But with that being said, I'm going to also turn on the speedrun timer, because in order to we can take out loads and stuff like that, so we can see an accurate measure of how we do it on the leaderboard. But other than that, timing will begin when I walk through this door in 3, 2, 1, go. So in Superliminal, perception is reality. And what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that we can manipulate objects to be as big or as small as we perceive them to be, which allows us to do a lot of really nice glitches, such as this. That is an out of bounds launch. Essentially, what I did is I made the object so big that there was no space between me or the object, and there's no space between the object or the ceiling. And because of that, when I jump up, the game sees that me and the object are taking up the same space, and it does not like it when two things take up the same space in this game. So to fix that, it will either kick me out or it'll kick the object out, depending on whatever the path of least resistance is. And in this case, it was the object. Or it was me. But aside from that, that's the first major glitch that we're going to be seeing. And we're going to be seeing a lot of different types of glitches like that in this category. Sapphire, could you go a bit more in detail about induction, but also the basic mechanics that we're going to be seeing out throughout this run?
Yeah, so as you can tell, this game has a lot of resizing. It's the central mechanic, and it's what's used for literally every puzzle in the game. Of which we are going to be skipping quite a lot via the methods that Oz has just shown off with the very first launch of the game. First level induction doesn't have a lot in it. There's literally a total of 4 collectibles, of which we've already gotten 1. So it's a lot of movement. We do most of it as intended, and soon we'll get into the maybe more exciting levels. More intense is perhaps the right word.
Yeah, right there at the very end, there's a little bit of a level geometry that like juts out from the right side of the wall, and we use that to our advantage to just jump over this pit or collect the blueprint on the other side of it. But other than that, we can just fall down, and that is the end of induction. Each level is going to end with like a specialized loading screen like this, and they're going to see a lot of wacky images between loading screens as well, so pay attention to those. So now we're going to be going into the second level, which is optical. And as the name implies, it's all about like optical illusions and such. So for example, I'm going to be looking at like a painting on the wall. It's going to become like a solid object if I look at it the right way. But starting off, you're going to see me like going out of my way to get a lot of minor collectibles. The minor collectibles in this game are the fire extinguishers and fire alarm, just because there's so many of them and they're kind of everywhere. But ironically, they're also like the source of a lot of time loss, especially for beginners, because you want to like keep moving, but there's a lot of movement with your mouse, so you have to do in order to like actively go out of your way to collect a lot of these collectibles. And so just like misclicking or like your aim is off, it's a time loss that adds up a lot throughout the run, especially when starting out. But we're going to go into two interesting tricks, like a skip and a pretty important glitch here. And Sapphire, if you could explain them so I can focus a little bit on them, I would love that.
Yeah, so what Oz is going to do in a second here is a somewhat intended mechanic. It was originally planned to be intended, they cut it, it's a whole big story. But it's called prop jumping because you can basically pick up an object and resize it while you're in midair, like that. That lets you get more height than you would if you just used the object as like stairs, and you can get to a lot of unintended places with that. Second one, Oz is going to do here with this door, slightly more complicated. It's called a warp launch. It's our second flavor of launch and involves rotating an object into yourself, like you just did, which will make it disappear. What's actually happening there is that the object is becoming extremely, extremely large, and when he lets go of it again, it's going to send him straight up.
Yes, exactly. And right here is a constellation room. That's our first example of a constellation room. All you have to do is line up your camera at the right angle in the right spot of the room. And as soon as you see the constellation turn solid like that, or turn 3D, that's how you know you've collected it, and you can immediately just reset checkpoint in order to go back to this room. We're going to be doing more prop jumping, as well as another launch similar to the one that we did at the beginning of the run in order to get up to this vent. Oh, excuse me. There we go, perfect. We're gonna get up onto this vent, and we're gonna collect one blue chest piece at the end of this. Lana, we have a little bit of walking. If you wanna read out like one donation right now, you definitely can.
Absolutely, I got you. We have a $25 donation from Shovel Claws, who says, "Yo, Ozmourn, you've been a joy to work with on so many different events over the past year. You're such a talented runner, and I'm so happy you got to run this. You're the GOAT. Much love."
Thank you so much, Shovel Claws. Sapphire, do you want to explain this last room here?
Yeah, so in this room, we're going to start by grabbing the moon. That's fine, it's normal. You're supposed to be allowed to do that, I think. And then we're going to grab that doorway, which is actually the exit to the level. We're not going to go through it yet, because we've got a couple more things to grab first. And Oz is also going to get a soda can from on top of the moon. Not sure if we put that up there. And use it for another jump launch. Exact same as what he did with those chest pieces, just with a can instead. We bring the exit with us. Very nice. Grab this blueprint, and we are out of there.
Wonderful. And every single level is going to kind of end in this hallway sequence in which there will be a fire extinguisher and a fire alarm. In this level in particular, we had to like bring it up on the roof. That room itself has actually gone through a lot of different iterations of a specific route, and it's evolved a lot throughout the years. Just that room by itself. This category has gone through a lot of new routes and new tricks, and it's evolved a lot throughout the past like 2 years or so, and I absolutely love it a lot. Lana, we are going to go and get another constellation. There's going to be a little bit of walking, so you can actually read out a few more donations if you like. If you can guess what constellation this is, chat, I'll give you like 5 points.
For sure. So we have a $20 donation from Captain Wrecked Beard, who says, "Good luck on the run, Oz. Remember to go fast." And also, speaking of remembering, I'm just going to remind everyone that we have some amazing incentives. And right now, the one that we are pushing for is the Super Boss Showcase for Yakuza Later. We need to hit $30,000, and we are already a third of the way there. So let's keep pushing. Make sure to click those incentives, everybody.
All right, thank you so much, Lana. So that is a constellation that we're going to be getting from Cubism, and now we're going to go into the real meat of the level. There's supposed to be a cube that you need to get up on this ledge for, but instead we just use the pole, because why would we use cubes? And as the name implies, Cubism, we're going to see a lot of cubes. First of all, in that vent that I just jumped up, there's a chest piece in there. I don't know how you're supposed to get that casually, but you can just grab it through the vent like that. But right here, we're going to be doing a very interesting glitch called vault clipping, in which you can just walk through this wall. You know, why would you ever like just do things casually. How exactly does that work, Sapphire?
Yeah, so this one's surprisingly simple. This game has a little ledge grab. Like, if you don't just quite jump high enough, you'll get a ledge grab and it'll move you up on top of the ledge. The ledge grab doesn't think to check if there's anything in the way. So you can just go through walls. It's great.
Yeah, it's amazing. I love it when the game doesn't check collision. The majority of this level is just like thinking that it's going to be normal cubes, but surprise, they're not. Such as this cube right here, that's going to turn into a bunch of sides, or like this exploding cube. We're just going to use a corner of it, just a bunch of smaller cubes, and that is pretty much the rest of cubism right there. But at the very end, we're going to be doing another warp launch, and in Blackout, which is the next level, you're going to really see the scope of how big the warp launch happens, because like to you, the audience, it just looks like I'm turning an object and then letting go of it, and then suddenly it disappears. But I really want to emphasize that it becomes so big, bigger than the level itself, that it also warps like every other object in the level, and just launches me up. And it immediately gets deleted because there's a deletion plane at the very bottom of the level. So anything that like touches it will just immediately get deleted and then respawned, which is very convenient for us and the things we want to do. Now, starting off at Blackout, there's a lot that I can say about it, but we do have to go and get another constellation. If you can guess what this constellation is, I'll give you like 12 points. But meanwhile, Lana, if you want to read out a few more donations, you can.
Absolutely. We have a $25 donation from Eden/V, who says, shoutouts to Oz, Sapphire, and the entire Superliminal speedrunning community. Such a wholesome and inclusive bunch. I love you all. Here's to an amazing AGDQ.
All right. Thank you so much. And we're actually going to restart level after getting that constellation because it just is a little bit faster than having to walk back ourselves. And in this first room, there's a lot of awkward movement in order to like get all of these fire extinguishers as quickly as you can. But as you can see, it's actually quite easy to like misclick or mess up your aim here. And Sapphire is probably infinitely more well-versed in this kind of movement than I am because like it's just really awkward for me and I've never fully gotten used to it. But with a bit of practice, it's not that bad. But with Blackout specifically, it kind of takes the entire perception is reality motif and it turns it on its head into more of a metaphorical sense, at least casually speaking, in which the tone of the game kind of shifts to make you think it's going to become a horror game. But in reality, you're only as scared as like you think you are. The level is only as scary as you perceive it to be. And you saw me clip this canister through a door. You're not supposed to bring items through like barriers like that, but we can just push them through. And the reason that I am bringing this canister with me is because we're going to do a very specific glitch that Sapphire, if you want to explain in more detail, you definitely can.
Yeah, so this is another warp launch. Exact same as what we did with that door earlier. But this one's a bit different because Blackout as a level just doesn't tend to have ceilings. The walls are really tall, so they just didn't put anything on top.
Like so. I'm so glad I didn't get a high launch there. I'm so glad.
Yeah, that launch can just send you far higher than it's supposed to, and nobody knows why. It's not too bad, but it loses some time.
Yeah. And if you want to explain this next one, I'm going to be doing it here, you can.
So, yet another warp launch. This one should theoretically be the exact same, but one thing makes it different, which is that this object has lighting, which isn't deleted when you warp launch with it. And this is what I was saying earlier about understanding the scale of the objects, because right now there's a really, really big red light off in the distance outside the level. You can open the map and look at it, and it's really cool. But yeah, it's going to make the rest of the level bright red until we reset checkpoint.
Right here, right here, I'm going to aim and try and get a blueprint that I can sign here on the other side. I saw my hand come up. There you go, come on. Where are you? I'm having trouble with this. more trouble. There we go. I signed it. Okay, they're right in between those two shelves. You can just barely sign a blueprint on the other end, so you don't have to like go get it yourself casually. And we're also going to take this can of beans and we're going to launch with it, because what else would you do with a can of beans? So we're just going to make this can of beans really big and boom, launch upwards with it in order to get this chess piece over here on the window. And yeah, that is pretty much all of Blackout. And as you can see here at the very end, when you're playing this casually, the game makes you think that there's like blood on the floor, other scary things, but it's actually just red paint. There's nothing to be afraid of. But yeah, that is Blackout. And I hope y'all enjoy avocados. But that is all for that level. And the next level that we're going to go into is Clone. And as the name implies, it is going to be all about cloning objects. However, ironically, the very first puzzle that we do doesn't actually clone any objects. Probably to set up your expectations, thinking that it's going to be a normal level, and then it's not. But right here, we're just every single lobby area is going to start off with one fire extinguisher and a fire alarm. But the movement in Clone in particular is sometimes hard to master, probably because you have to, especially in this beginning section, you have to bring this door with you in order to press this button. We're going to change the channel, see if we can get some different music. Okay, nice. I think it's like channel 7. And one thing about the fire alarms in this level is that since you can clone them, they have like an infinite grab distance, and you can just clone objects like that as well. If you clone 100, you get an achievement that says, why are you like this? Because why are you like this? But there's one interesting quirk about this level that I'm about to do with a glitch, and I hope that Sapphire can explain it while I do it in focus.
Yeah, so this one's an entirely unique kind of launch, due to an interesting quirk of Clone, which is to say you can look straight down. It's the only level you can do this. I don't think anyone's really sure why, but it does allow that type of launch that you just saw. I also don't know how that works, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But it is very handy.
It
For
is.
the one
It is very handy.
circumstance it's required.
Yeah. As long as you like just look straight down and you jump and click in quick succession, it'll launch you upwards like so. And one thing that you might have noticed is that the rules for cloning objects in this game are not consistent, in the sense that like in the green apple room, you saw that I was able to physically pick up the apple, put it down, and then the next object that I picked, next time that I touched it, I picked it up, and then that's when it cloned. However, for example, the red apple room that I saw, I wasn't able to pick up the object. The moment that you touch it, it just plops to the ground like a rock. And it's kind of like different just depending on what the puzzle needs. And of course, we as speedrunners know what rules apply to which ones, so it's not that much of a hassle. But it's just something that you got to memorize and know how it works when you're starting out. Lana, we're about to do another constellation. If you all can guess what this one is, I'll give you like 25 points, but you can read out one more donation right
For
here.
sure. So we have a $5 donation from Samwise, who says, "Let's go, Ozmourn. Cheers to Sapphire for being the all-collectibles queen and commentating today. And thank you to the Superliminal speedrun community for being so supportive and welcoming."
Thank you so much. And one thing about this level is that you probably saw that I didn't get every single fire alarm. Why is that, Sapphire?
Yeah, this level is strange in several ways, apparently. The other one being that some fire alarms just don't count. They're part of pairs of fire alarms. You only have to pull one and then you're good. Also, like the last thing, I don't know why this happens.
Yeah, exactly. So like, just a few of them are paired, and you pull one, pull the other. That's pretty much it. It's very convenient. We've bug reported it, and I think the devs have acknowledged it, but they haven't really like fixed it in modern patches yet. But it's very convenient for us as speedrunners, so we don't have to go out of our way to get more. But right here, we're gonna go straight into Dollhouse. If y'all can guess what this constellation is, I can give you like 75 points. And Lana, you can read out another donation if you would like.
For sure. So we have another $5 donation from Happy by 3, who says, "Continuing the tradition of donating during Ozmourn runs. If anybody doesn't have a friend like Oz in their life, I recommend finding one. Somebody who not only believes in your ideas, but helps to make them a reality. There's probably a Superliminal joke there, but it's too early to be creative. Good luck on the run. Rooting for you from the Multithon Discord."
Thank you so much for that amazing donation, Lana. Thank you, Happy by 3, for that amazing donation. So right here, we're gonna go straight into the real meat of Dollhouse, and we introduced a weird mechanic in this particular level, and it's going to be very like frustrating starting out, especially when you're like a beginner in this game, because the mechanic is resizing the dollhouse or resizing the portals that you're going through. And in effect, you're also resizing yourself. The bigger you make the portal that you walk through, the smaller you are. And if you're too small, you're going to be running really slowly. But if you make the portal too small, you're going to be too big, and you're probably not going to fit through the other portal on the other end that usually requires you to be smaller. And as we are walking through this hallway, grabbing an extinguisher, and there's a TV that's not plugged in but somehow still on, I'm going to be going and playing some Jenga the completely intended way, and doing some more tricks that I would like Sapphire to explain.
Yeah, so because of how this level works, you're resizing yourself a lot. There needs to be some way for the game to deal with that. So it's got a whole bunch of little portals that will reset you back to size 1. What Oz is going to do here is just dip in and out of one of those, which will resize him up, which just lets him walk a little bit faster for grabbing those collectibles.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Also, the next puzzle, which I'll also mention, is the bouncy castle. Probably doesn't mean a lot to anybody watching at home, because it's just Oz playing with bouncy castle. But this bouncy castle is well known for being terrible to everybody in every category. It just doesn't like you, I think.
It doesn't. Really doesn't. It's a bit finicky. Yeah. Yes, it's a bit finicky if you manage to resize it just ever so slightly off. But thankfully, we didn't have much trouble with it there. And at this very last section, we're going to perform a glitch known as Arc Skip, found by our community member Archmage, in which we take this and we just put it out of bounds like so. And that allows us to clip the portal that gets put out of bounds that we walk through is conveniently right above the final area, in which we can just collect the last collectible, the blueprint, and then finish the level. That is only possible on version 12.10, not any modern patches, unfortunately, because when you saw that I walked through the portal and then kept looking at it, like the outline or the door frame was still there, that is only possible on this particular patch that I'm playing on. And
thankfully, that is the Steam beta patch, so
yes,
you don't have to worry about down patching.
Yeah, exactly. And Sapphire, if you want to explain audio skips that I'm going to be doing right now, you can.
Yeah, okay, so we're starting from Labyrinth now, which is a level that starts with a really long cutscene of a whole bunch of characters talking. We haven't talked about these people at all because they just haven't been important. But yeah, the way that it's laid out is a whole bunch of sequential dialogue triggers, and the very last one will teleport you into the rest of the level. Thankfully, a couple of them can just be jumped straight over, which saves, I believe, 26 seconds of waiting. It's a lot of time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's like a solid 26 seconds. I actually have a video of it on my YouTube that I made like all the different comparisons, and I found it to be exactly like around 26 seconds. If I'm wrong about that, I'm gonna be so embarrassed, but you can go check that out as well. And right here, I am actually going to be lining myself up with specific visual cues on the wall, because as soon as you hear the alarm clock beeping, it means you're about to be teleported back into this room. And so if you can just line yourself up with specific cues on the wall so that you can just immediately spam click and then not have to worry about like aiming for the alarm or anything like that, and immediately get just teleported to the rest of the level. And right now I'm going to be doing a frame perfect trick. Get it? Because I perfectly went through the frame. No. And okay, tough crowd. Well, thank you to Hippienator for that amazing pun that he came up with and that I use all the time. Shout outs to him, he's great. But the rest of the level is kind of like subverting your expectations, such as me falling down this hallway. And I'm really hoping that I get this particular launch first try, because I'm not entirely, thank goodness, I'm not entirely well versed in the backup, but I'm so glad that I got it first try. And you can really only do it once, otherwise you have to go for the backup. But Sapphire, do you want to explain a little bit more about this level, about what we're going to be seeing, and about the pretty difficult puzzle that, casually speaking, that is going to be coming up right after this section?
Yeah, so right now we're in Labyrinth. We're actually nearing the end of the game. This is the second last real level, I suppose. And it gets rather chaotic. A lot of unexpected twists to throw a casual player off, such as the floor disappearing from beneath you, and a couple of the hardest puzzles in terms of casual gameplay, including this one that Oz is about to enter. Do we have a name for this puzzle? I don't think we do.
I don't think we do.
Yeah. But basically, yeah, you'll notice that Oz is doing some strange mouse movement here, and that whichever way he looks first will always be closed off. That's the gimmick of this puzzle. Whichever way you look first will be closed off, and the one that isn't is where you want the exit sign in the middle to point.
Yes.
It's really simple when you know the solution.
It is.
Not so when you don't.
Exactly. And right here, we're going to be doing something called a slide launch. Essentially, I'm sliding the cube down. Oh, I was so hoping that we'd get the ledge grab, but that's unfortunate we didn't. And right here, we're going to be doing 2 slide launches. Essentially, you just slide an object across the wall, and you push it in, and then it pushes you, and then it gets pushed back out, and then immediately launches you up in the air. And we're going to be doing the same thing with this knight right here. Ooh. Oh, I have never had that happen before. That's never happened before. I said the thing because it's actually never happened before.
Yeah, I can't say that's happened to me either. That's, wow, okay.
Usually, I think it's just I didn't make it big enough, and so the game decided to clip it out of bounds instead of me. And now it doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. That's what's supposed to happen. We just take this, and then we're just going to come down here and get some more minor collectibles. And we're going to be collecting 1 more constellation in this level as well. And this takes a bit of walking. And if you can guess what this one is, I'm going to give you like 1,000,000 points, because if you never played this, you will not guess what it is. Lana, if you want to read out like 1 or 2 more donations, you can.
For sure. So we have a $25 donation from Critique Quartz, who says, "Hi Oz, did you know about the American chestnut blight? But seriously, congrats on getting into GDQ, and thank you for always being willing to explain stuff to someone who knows nothing about speedruns. Good luck on the run."
Thank you. You can read out 1 more?
Yeah, for sure. So we also have $100 from Charbunny, who says, "Ozmourn, good luck with your run. I know it's going to be a ton of fun."
Thank you so much for that amazing donation, Charbunny. Right here at the very end of this level, we are going to be teleporting to some more locations and doing specific strats, such as turning around here and grabbing that checkpoint. And as soon as we grab this fire alarm, we just reset checkpoint right here. And we're going to be collecting 1 more amount of collectible. Here's Elevator Maze. You're supposed to get lost in this maze and then follow arrows that'll lead you to where you're supposed to go. But the exit is actually at the same place every single time, so you don't have to worry about that. You have a specific pattern that we do that's pretty easy to follow once you learn it. And in this particular room, this is the last area. You think this is a normal parking lot, but surprise, it's not. And as soon as you walk towards the walls, they're going to turn into physical walls. And you actually don't have to be facing them at all to actually activate them. And so as soon as that happens, this room in the middle just pops in, and we have this specific angle because we actually want to climb up on that chair and grab 1 last blueprint at the very end. So that is that. But now we're going to go into white space. First, we're going to do Jungle's Bistro, but then we're going to go through a lot of different glitches in quick succession that I want Sapphire to explain. I'm really hoping that that isn't too big. Oh, that's just barely too big. Okay, but that's Sapphire, you can explain a little bit more about what we're going to be seeing here in white space.
Yeah, so white space is a very, very unique level. We restart level no less than 4 times, I believe, because the very start of this level is a bit broken. You'll notice there's a clinic that Oz is resizing, and he can go through a door over to his right that will take him to that clinic. What we can do with this is clip the clinic out of bounds, like Oz is about to do up here, and put it pretty much anywhere we want in the level. This skips a whole lot of stuff. There's a big long cutscene when you solve the puzzle the intended way. It's a whole bunch of stuff. We don't deal with any of it. We do this 3 times, clip it out 3 times, and it saves like unbelievable amounts of time, upwards of 4 or 5 minutes.
So this is the final fire alarm. This is the final fire extinguisher. And now we only have to do a few more main collectibles, and that'll be pretty much the whole run. But also, one thing about the glitch that I'm performing out of bounds is that you're seeing that I actually put the clinic through a specific portal. The default size you're supposed to be is size 1. And I reset checkpoints instead of restarting level up. The default size you're supposed to be is size 1. And there's supposed to be a paradox sequence that happens here, in which you put a portal into itself. And the devs have made it so that whenever you put the portal into itself, you go back to size 1, so you don't soft lock. This is the last blueprint, but believe it or not, that actually works with like any portal. The game doesn't check to see which portal you put it through, and so you can just do that and put it through that portal, and suddenly you're back to size 1. And you can back up here, and this is the final chess piece. And we're gonna get one final consolation. If you can get this one, guess what this one's gonna be? You can get like 48 points. Lana, if you want to read out one or two final donations, you can.
For sure. So we have a $25 from Thirst Third. Sorry if I mispronounced your name. Ozmourn is a speedrun legend and wholesome guy who has encouraged me to further my speedrunning ventures. So happy to see him run Superliminal at GDQ.
And thank you so much, Tears. It's amazing. But that is the final consolation, and we've gotten every single collectible in the game. I'm going to attempt to do prop walking once, and if I do not get it, I'm going to move on. But essentially what prop walking is, yes, I believe too. Essentially what prop walking is that I'm gonna be taking and putting this clinic out of bounds and then walking backwards. As soon as I start falling, I'm gonna start prop walking. And if that happens, right, I should be able to grab, I don't think I got it.
Yeah, that's a miss.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. We're just gonna try the backup for it. So essentially what that was supposed to do is I was supposed to immediately end the level right then and there. That would have been the end level trigger that I would have touched, and that would have allowed me to immediately get into the end of the level, and time would have been like really, really soon. But instead what we're gonna be doing is we're actually going to be doing another chess piece launch, similar to what we did at the very beginning of the run, and we're going to be falling way down. So that's pretty much it. Yeah,
that's the whole run. That's the end of White Space. One more basically cutscene level, less than a second. But yeah, I was just going to say that this helps actually visually explain what we were trying to do with prop walk. This whole big sequence is at the end of the level normally. You fall down and then you hit the end of level trigger. And then, wow, it's cool and dramatic in the end of the game. What we were trying to do is basically get really big and hit it from underneath.
Mm-hmm. And time is going to come up in 3, 2, 1, time. So yeah, that is Superliminal, all collectibles. There is a very long cutscene here at the end that we could walk through, but I'm actually going to go to the main menu and I'm going to check each and every level to make sure that we didn't miss anything. We didn't. We got every single collectible in the game. Okay, thank goodness.
Nice.
We didn't miss any collectibles. Everything, as you can see here, is collected as seen through these icons at the bottom, as I said they would. But that is Superliminal. Sub 30 IGT is really good. I'm pretty sure that my RTA was probably like a 30, possibly 31, depending on how long the pauses and the loads were. And otherwise, I am really glad with how that went out. And we actually have an incentive to show off the tech demo of the game, if I recall, that has been met. And so I was told we're gonna like go to transition real quick so I can set that up.
Yeah, you got it.
But stay tuned. Yes, wonderful. Stay tuned for that. But I guess I could shout out just the entire Superliminal community, especially all those who have contributed to this category. Shout outs to other communities such as Multithon, Lady Arcaders, and everyone who has donated and supported me throughout those communities as well. I absolutely love everyone involved in them, and I'm really hoping that I can that I put on a show for y'all. And I'm really glad that I was able to show up this category. It's so much fun to see and to watch. And Sapphire, is there anything that you want to shout out before we head out?
I was just going to say it's really nice to see the Liminal community out donating today. I remember seeing Cap, Eden, Sam, and T-Dust. Thank you all so much. It was lovely to see you.
All right. Thank you so much. So we're going to transition real quick, and I'll set the tech demo up so you guys can see that.
You got it. All right, everyone. So hold on tight. We're going to go to a quick little break here as we set up for our tech demo showcase of Superliminal. All right, while we are on our break, since this was an incentive that we were able to meet, great job, everyone, by the way, that was awesome. Let me tell you a little bit more about the other incentives that we have open. So like I had said earlier, we have a Yakuza Super Boss Showcase open. So you might be wondering, what the heck is a Super Boss Showcase? Well, good news, I can tell y'all all about it. So, the Super Boss Showcase is a showcase where the runner will be fighting the 2 toughest bosses in the game. Final Majima, the most powerful form of Majima that you fight after getting Max Majima Everywhere rank, and Joe Amon, sorry about the pronunciations, traditional series secret boss that's usually unlocked after finishing all side quests. So both of these fights will be on Legend difficulty. So both of the bosses will have both their health and aggression fully maxed out. Also, due to both the difficulty and the nature of those bosses, they will require using some moves that we don't get to show during the run itself. So if you want to see the runner push to their limits with these very challenging super bosses, make sure that when you are sending in your donations that you are clicking on that Yakuza Super Boss Showcase, because that run will be coming up in a few hours and it is sure to be amazing. So in order to unlock that, we need to hit $30,000. And right now we're sitting at a just peachy 11,345, which means that we are already 1/3 of the way there to unlocking this incentive. So let's keep pushing, everyone. Make sure you're assigning those incentives when you send in your donations, and we'll see if we can get that Super Boss Showcase unlocked. I'm super excited to see it. Also, speaking of donations, as we keep getting ready for that incentive, I will read a quick donation here. We have a $200 donation from AdamBoy7, who says, Superliminal holds a special place in my heart. I remember marathoning it in one sitting in Discord with friends trying to grind out a sub 30-minute time. This game makes you think outside the box. And speaking of outside the box, can we see what it's like to think with boats instead of portals? Thanks so much for your donation, AdamBoy7. We appreciate it so much. All right, and we are all ready for our tech demo showcase, once again featuring Oz. So let's welcome him back, and I'll let him take it away.
Thank you so much, Lana. So this is the tech demo for Superliminal. It's under a different name, Museum of Simulation Technology. It was created around 5 years before Superliminal released. It was made by just one man, and it is very short. The speedrun world record is like 42 seconds long, around there. And a few things that I wanted to show about the tech demo before we get into the speedrun. Thankfully, they gave me a little bit of time to explain some cool differences. First of all, as you can see here, the resizing mechanic, as usual, and the chest motif has kind of always been there. And also, there's a shift button that allows you to run, which isn't in the final product. And also, there is no way for me to adjust my sensitivity. I just want y'all to see this, just how much I'm moving my mouse and how much the screen is moving right now. There's no way for me to fix that, unfortunately. But we're going to go into 2 other levels I want to see. For example, this fan. as you saw in Dollhouse, this fan has always kind of been there since the beginning. And so we're gonna try and see how fast we can go with this. And also the moon that we saw in the other level that allows us to grab the exit off of the moon, that has always been there as well. And so we can just mess with that. And other than that, we're going to go straight into the speed run right here. Timing will begin at first input at the very first level right here. So timing will begin in 3, 2, 1, go. So it's going to be very difficult because you can't just like adjust your sensitivity, unfortunately. But I'm going to be doing my best, as I did some significant practice here. And one thing that you saw there was I did like the same thing, prop jumping, you know, similar mechanics allow for similar tricks. We're just going to be knocking down this painting in order to use it as a ramp up here, like so. Excuse me. There we go. That's what I wanted. Sometimes that's like one of the more finicky ones. Sometimes it doesn't want to cooperate you. It's activity time. Oh dear. Let me try that again. It's activity time. In which we can just jump over here, grab another checkpoint. If you fall, it's going to respawn you over here. That's a pretty simple level. And now we're going to go into this level with the fan. Grab it here, and we're going to walk up to it, make it real big so we can knock down this guy right here. Come on. I believe in you. You got it. Let's go. Thank you. And you can just immediately, like, as long as any part of your body is touching the end level trigger, you can immediately end the level like so. And I did that twice right there with that first level and also with the moon. And this level, that's an infinite landscape. You can just keep walking and eventually you will fall out of bounds. But you can just walk through the window in order to get there. And that is time. That's it. That's like the whole thing. But as you can see, it's I mainly wanted to show this off to illustrate that like this was made by the same developers, and I wanted to really illustrate the amount that the game has evolved, what has always been there since the beginning, and what are certain things that aren't in the final product anymore, such as the shift button or specific puzzles. And I am really glad that I was able to show this off as an incentive as well. And I'm so glad that y'all were able to get it met really quickly too. But shout outs to everyone in the Museum of Simulated Technology Discord. Obviously, we're all also Superliminal runners, but we have this game with the Discord as well. You can look up both Superliminal and Museum of Simulated Technology on Spirit.com. We each have our own Discords as well. And if you're interested in running it, we have more beginner-friendly categories than the all collectibles one you saw, such as Glitchless, which is our main category and really easy to get into. Otherwise, I'm really hoping that I put on a wonderful show for y'all and that you enjoyed Superliminal and Museum of Simulation Technology. Thank you so much to GDQ for having me. And as always, I hope y'all have a wonderful rest of the marathon and that y'all enjoy Super Scared with Skate next. He's absolutely amazing, and I can't wait to look at that run. So hope y'all have a wonderful day. I've been Ozmourn, and this has been Superliminal and Museum of Simulation Technology. Thank you all so much.